It's time for Chat with Chuck, live from Windsor, California, discussing stuff on Chuck's mind, life, attitudes, and stuff. And now, your host, Chuck the DJ.
Hey everybody, happy Tuesday. The 15th, 16th, like 9 days away from the big day for some of you. Jimbo Slice Chicago, how you doing? Black Sheep Kajiro, my wife in the house. Yay! Who else is here? Sam Nation, DJ Alice, Mike Gracious, and Dance Dance DJ Deb was here, and a number of other individuals. Thank you for joining me today. We have a few things to talk about. You probably know some of them. Dance is still there. Dance Dance DJ Deb's still there. I gave Deb a raid last night. How you doing, Deb? I was surprised. I raided you last night at about, I don't know what, 12:30 or something like that, our time. And then I went to bed and I got up and I was surprised you weren't still on. what was the deal? It was a short show for Dance Dance DJ Deb last night. I don't know. That would just be the exclamation point in SO, Kajira. I think we changed that. DJ Trish, how you doing? And welcome. Wow, we got a kind of a full house here today. Happy holidays. I hope everybody's getting ready for whatever holiday that you celebrate. Deb says, thanks for the raid. Nope, I raided out at 10 p.m. or 10 a.m. my time. Oh, all right. So yeah, I was like, I got up about, I don't know, what time did I get up today? About 7:30, something like that. And you were already gone. You were history. So yeah, that was fun. I had a great night. I had a great stream last night. DJ, oh my gracious, DJ C Sky, the dot. Wait, there's a hype train. What the heck? Thank you for the hype train. Whoever has done that. Happy Hanukkah to you too, C Sky. Glad to see you in there. I appreciate that. C Sky, you cheered 200 bits. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And KGB, it's all in the family. Thank you so much for an early hype train. This is like, okay, all right, cool. I appreciate that. So yeah, holiday season is upon us. My wife and we were actually out this morning. We did a little shopping. We bought our ham. Cause you're dropping 100 biddies. Thank you. Your KGB says I'm not as rich as DJ C's guy. Nobody is. Such a beautiful daughter. Thank you so much. Yeah, we were out shopping this morning, and we actually bought our Christmas ham. We bought a spiral. We bought one of those spiral ones, So it's already kind of like pre-cut. You bake it and then you pull it out, and you can just, you don't have to slice or anything. It's all easy. It's all easy to do for you. We do turkey on Thanksgiving, and we usually do ham on Christmas. I know some people do the turkey, they do the ham. I've heard people do tacos on Christmas. Yeah, Jimbo, come on over. We bought it. DJ BBS, good evening. How you? Great to see you. Yeah, we bought. I don't know what was I don't know how big it was. It's pretty big. We always buy a huge turkey, and you bought your Hanukkah ham. We always big a huge turkey. Like I think we bought like an 18-pound bird for two of us, and I think this ham was 10 or 12 pounds because we like leftovers. We'll eat a bunch of leftovers and then we'll freeze some, and then Kajira will take like the bones and stuff, and sometimes she'll make a soup or she'll make a stew or something like that, along those lines, and it's yummy, So, but yeah, I mean, you gotta have more. You gotta buy more than you just need that one day. You got to have it extra. Technically, the second day of Hanukkah, second day, third night. Do you light candles at the house, KGB? Do you have the menorah? You have the menorah? That's a drink, isn't it? It tells you how informed I am with that. Jimbo, how you doing today? Is it cold up there in Chicago? I think last time we checked, it was 3 degrees or something like that. when we last spoke. Cold. Got about 2 minutes left in the hype train, by the way. So the sundown, right? Sun is down here. Yeah, it's 4:05 here. We're gonna kill just a couple seconds before we kind of jump into it. DJ Ryan, did Ryan sneak in? I didn't notice that. Did DJ Ryan sneak into the chat? Sam Nation, thank you so much, dropping some biddies. The biddy love. I do appreciate that. Thank you, Sam. So yeah, Christmas holidays. We're not doing anything this year. We've been married 34 years, I think it is, and making chicken tortilla soup for family. I enjoy your food, like on Instagram's IG. You're doing the food things and stuff like that. See, Sky, I don't catch as many as I used to. Have you slowed down on that? Food blogs. Thank you, KGB. I said hi. Ignored. I'm sorry, Rai. My Pookie Ryan is in the house, and I ignored him. I'm so sorry about that, Ryan. I didn't see you. Sometimes I get lost in the moment, and I'm reading stuff, and I don't know, and I apologize.
DJ Ryan 22, also known as Chuck Spooky, is in the house.
Yeah, there you go, Ryan. That's just for my boy Ryan. So yeah, that time of year, Black Sheep Kajira dropping another 10, 9 seconds, 8 seconds. Thank you, Kajira. Boy, I've completely lost my train of thought now already. And but Ryan's here. Ryan's probably at work, and that's all right. I know. I lose my train of thought often. We're going to get into it. We're going to get into it here real quick. I do want to remind everybody that this is a live chat. For those of you that are watching us on YouTube or listening to me on YouTube, I do get distracted from time to time because of the chat, and the chat will throw me off my game a little bit. They'll be saying stuff, and I'll start responding to the chat, and it kind of throws me off. I lose my train of thought sometimes, which is easy for me to do. I know how sensitive you are, Ryan. I've been there. So those of you on YouTube, thank you for listening. Thank you for paying attention. A couple things we're going to talk about today. I wasn't really sure if I should get into this, or how I was going to talk about this. Johnny Thunders, how you doing? You thought this was a recorded chat? Yeah, no. Well, I'm recording, Johnny, but yeah. DC Artist, welcome. Thank you. Welcome in. Glad you're here. I didn't know I didn't know how not to discuss this today, and I don't want to take the whole hour. But I felt like I have to at least acknowledge it. I have to bring it up. Because as most of probably all of you know, we lost TennesseeGirl, a Twitch mod last week. Actually, last Wednesday. It was we were having a birthday raid train for her, and we found out that she had passed, assuming that day. She lived alone, so we are assuming it was that day, and that kind of threw the raid train into a whole different tizzy vibe, as opposed to a celebration. We weren't really mourning; we were more trying to celebrate Tennessee's life. She was a mod for so many people on Twitch. I think last count was something like 13, 14, something like that. Last time I had talked to her, and the outpouring was just kind of amazing. And there have been talks about maybe doing something else in the future, another something. But that's kind of out of my hands. The people I've talked to, I've said I'd be more than happy to join in or help with it. But I really didn't want to take the point on it. So that may or may not happen. DJ Ryan says, so sad, such a warm heart and an amazing mod. Honestly, I mean, I've had my share of mods in my 5+ years of streaming, and nobody came close to the effort that Tennessee Girl put into her streaming and her modding. She had she had her own demons. She had her own things going on. Twitch was basically her life, and so with her COPD, her health things, she was kind of lost, and so basically it was home or the doctors or Twitch, and which is why she was so often available, even for myself. Thank you, DC artist. She loved she did love the show. And she used to tell me how much she loved the show. But you know what, she gave her all to all her people. Twitch, KGB says Twitch was her family. We were her brothers and sisters. Yeah, and I mostly, except for this show, most of the time, unless I'm on a raid train, which I love, I stream at night. I usually go on somewhere around 9 o'clock at night here in Northern California, which, for the rest of the country is fairly late. And, 11 o'clock or midnight, depending upon where you're at over there. And, but she would try to be in my streams as much as possible. If I wasn't interfering or it wasn't coinciding with some of her other DJs that she streamed with, because I am kind of an intermittent streamer too. I mean, I do have certain days that I like to stream on, and normally you'll find me on those Monday nights and those Wednesday nights. You'll normally find me on those nights, but it's also I'm also of the attitude, and we've talked about this before. I'm also of the attitude of, if I don't want to stream that night, if I don't feel like it, it's like I'm not going to. This is the one show, the Chat with Chuck show on Tuesdays is the one show I really try to center my life around. I want to make sure that I'm here for this show, and so she would be in my shows as much as humanly possible, and I so appreciated it so much. And and she was a great mod. I mean, she kept going, she kept it going. She would shout out everybody, whether they were a streamer or not. It just really seemed like she really dug being a mod, dug doing it. I wasn't as close to her as a lot of people were. I never talked to her on the phone, like a number of people that I've since talked to since last week. She was pretty active with people on the phone, and again, that was all part of her life. Twitch was an amazing part of her life. DC Artist says yes, she gave her all, and she did, and there was no. In case you don't know, we talked about this on the stream during the raid train, so I'm not saying anything I haven't said before. But one of her neighbors went by her house kind of in the morning. They saw a delivery from Walmart through the window. They saw Tennessee on her couch. They went by later in the afternoon. The Walmart delivery was still on the porch. She looked through the window, and Tennessee was, down on the couch. I assume at that point she called 911. I didn't get that much information, but and that was relayed to me. I hadn't been in touch with her. I'd been gone for the week on a vacation. When I knowing her health and the way that she is, I did I messaged her, and I never heard back from her. I just assumed that she was, at another DJ's or just not feeling well, because when she wasn't feeling well, the day of the stream, the day of their birthday, I kind of wished that I talked to her or reached out to her to see what was going on. In my mind, I told myself to check her Facebook page to see if there was any information on there. I forgot to do that in the midst of doing everything for the train. It just went out here. I was fortunate enough to have a Tina baby happen to check her Facebook page and let me know that there was a post on there that said heavenly birthday, wishing her a heavenly birthday. At that point, I went to Tennessee Girl's webpage or Facebook page, saw who had made the post. I reached out to that person who turned out to be her stepsister. Not by blood. They had foster parents the same, and from that person is where I got my information about what that she had passed and what had occurred, and so that's that. That's kind of what happened. That was again, last Wednesday. And since then, a number of people have reached out to me, have whispered me, have texted me. That DJ Troy, welcome in. We're touching briefly on Tennessee Girl. That is what is up. Thank you for coming in, Troy, and I appreciate your support too, DJ Troy. And actually, I'm glad you're here, Troy, because we're going to talk. One of my notes about things to talk about is something that you're really enjoying. But anyway, so it was such an unexpected loss. Just threw us all for a loop. So if during the stream, if anybody is here that would like to, share a story, ask a question, whatever regarding Tennessee Girl, we are all here for you. I think the cool thing about Twitch is the community involved. And people are very supportive. People are willing. Aside from the drama that I know exists, there's fractions within the Twitch world that don't get along, and that's pretty much everywhere. But we try to avoid that here. DC Artist says, I miss her and all 1 million commands she made. DJ Alice says, I sure miss her. She was so good to us. Yeah, both of you. Exactly. And if Tennessee Girl, wanted a command, she knew how to do it, and she would just boom and just, bang it out. I never put any restrictions on my mods. And so if they wanted a command, make it, I've got a zillion commands. DJ Ryan and I, back in the day, were making commands left and right. Tennessee Girl came in. One of my early mods, Joni, would make a command left and right. There is just, commands on top of commands in my place. And some of them I look at, like recently I was looking down some of them and I'm like, what the heck is that command? Where did that come from? And as a streamer, and if you're a streamer, that sometimes things happen in your chat and it goes by so fast that you don't really even get to see it. And later you'll go back and you'll look at it and you'll be like, okay, it's like okay, that's great. GNC DJ, how you doing? Welcome in. Yes, she was a fantastic, true supporter, and she was. She was, she wasn't financially able to support people, that wasn't part of her life. And she, gave from the heart. And that's important, I really don't know what more else to say, and I didn't really want to go on and on and on and on and on about this. That DJ Troy says still has several of the commands. One of my mods who passed away years ago saved, and he will never be deleted as a mod in his honor. Yeah. I have the same feelings, Troy. If you have a mod and they pass, I mean, God, I mean, how the least we can do is just keep them there as their mod status. I'll never take Tennessee away. That's it. DC Artist says that she gave the most important. She gave the most important than money. She gave time. Most important thing, yeah, she gave time. And again, the Twitch was her life, and so the time that she gave was just tremendous. And you all know this. You'd be home or whatever, and you'd get yet another. Hey, come watch. Chuck the DJ with me, or come watch whoever that she was supporting. Maya Makalea. Whoever. That was just that was one of the ways that she was supported. That was one of the ways that she could give back. DJ Choi says, we have lost so many Twitch family in the last 5 years. It's a stark reminder of just how fragile life is. I mean, let's talk about last night. Well, but let's not talk about it, but Rob Reiner and his wife. I mean, you just never know when something's going to happen. Yeah, Twitch will get so confused and be like, "Is she a bot?" Yeah, but we talked about this last Wednesday during her thing about how precious life is, and how petty. If you stop and you think about some of the arguments or even some of the drama, as we call it here on Twitch, or just in your life, and how petty some of that stuff is. I mean, I have grudges. I hold grudges, and I have grudges from 10 years, 15 years ago, and I would love to be able to let them go. I probably never will be able to, but they are, as time goes on, they're getting less and less grudgy. I don't know. Is that a word? But somebody I know was talking to Tennessee the night before, and they were having some words, and they weren't good words. And they have expressed to me how utterly crappy that they feel because the last few words that they had together were angry. And a parent, a sibling, a friend, a worker, a coworker, somebody you golf with, the crap happens. What's the old saying? Don't go to bed mad. What if you go to bed mad and your partner dies during the night? Act. Doesn't so I don't know what's the thing here. Be kind, be loving. You don't have to get along with every single person, but at the same time, you don't have to antagonize. You don't have to attack. You don't have to go after those kind of people. Just if there's somebody that says or does something, I mean, granted, sometimes you got to stand up, but sometimes just breathe and go, you know what? That's fine. Let it go. DJ Choi says, I believe grudges are our teachings in life. I try not to hold many, but as you mentioned earlier, oil and water won't always mix. Exactly. DJ Artist says, you got to remember this might be the last word you say to someone. You know what? I could keel over right now. But yeah, it's exactly. You guys are we're all on the same page. Somebody go. We're here, so I'd kind of like to move on a little bit. Just know that Tennessee Girl's in all of our hearts. And if for some reason I offer. My whispers, and of course, I will not share them. If you need to say something, if you need to vent, you need to share a story along those lines. I am here. I am a whisper away. I'm a whisper away. That would be kind of a cool. I'm a whisper away. Anyway, so that's that. All right, let's move on. What do you say? You want to move on? Okay, let's move on. DJ Choi's here. And I'm glad DJ Choi's here because one of the things I wanted to talk about today is something DJ Choi is huge on. And for those of you that are streamers, the shared chat. I want to talk about the shared chat. I know we talked about it a couple of weeks ago, maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago on Chat with Chuck. But let's talk about the shared chat. when I'm on and Troy's on, Troy will send me and I still haven't figured out how to do it yet. So, excuse me. Troy will send me a shared chat link. Hey, let's share chats. You know, let's do it. Let's combine the chats and let's go. And sometimes I do it. Most of the time I do it. I don't always do it. If I'm not feeling it, if I'm feeling like just leave me alone, I want to be alone with my peeps. I won't. I'll ignore it, or I'll decline it, and then I'll shoot whoever that person is. And Troy, I think I've done this with him. I'll shoot them a note saying, "Hey, you know, not tonight." Yeah. Now, I still haven't figured out. And Troy just said shared chat has been a huge change to my channel this year. Okay, so I still haven't figured out what the main advantage of a shared chat is. I mean, what was Twitch thinking when they brought us the shared chat? DJ Trish said she did it with that DJ Troy before too. Yeah, there's more people in the room. Yeah, DC Artist, you're right. There is more people in the room. There's more people in the chat that are commenting on things in their streamer's room. I've seen, you know, comments going by like, "Oh my God, I love this song," and I'm like, okay, oh, not my song. Now, as a streamer, there's little circles or whatever. I know who's in my chat when they're talking about it, and that's kind of, you know, that kind of thing. So I know who's talking to me or who's commenting on my stuff. Alice says, well, they have shared chat and shared stream. Yeah, I got invited to a shared stream last night, and I didn't do it either because I don't know how that shared stream works. And the couple times I've seen it, in fact, I think DC Artist was doing that the other day with Alpha during her birthday, which was last Saturday, if I'm not mistaken. Hey, Jack DK, how you doing? Welcome in. It was fun because we did the spam wars. I wish the streamers can see my page too. So, but when DC Artist and Alpha were doing it the other day on her birthday, in my eyes, it wasn't working all that great because they were fuzzy. I couldn't see them. I couldn't see what was going on. DJ Ryan says, I've only done it with you once. It was fun, but I can see how it get confusing. Yeah. Long time no see. Hey, Jack. Yeah, so somebody clue me in. Troy says, and I find it a way to promote others who may not have the same following as myself, not bragging, but I used to help other DJs. Yeah, and that's great. And that's my thinking. That's, you know, I join a shared chat with you or whoever, and there's 3 or 4 other people that, because there's always been more than 1 or 2 in your shared chats that I've been with, and they go, oh, now, and I will honestly say, I have never, to the best of my recollection, I have never got another follower during a shared chat. Okay, so I have never had that situation where I've been in a shared chat and somebody in another streamer's room that's in the shared chat has followed me. I have never had that. As best I can remember, I've never had that. Okay. DC Artist said it was a shared chat and shared stream. But I mean, you know, hopefully maybe down the road they'll see me and maybe they'll join in. You know, the old advertising adage of you need to see things 3 times or people need to see things 3 times for them to remember or get in. I think I know, Alice, I worry about so many things. I do, Alice. I do. My wife and I have talked about this so many times. You know, just letting things go on Twitch, letting it go. You know, just play the music and enjoy that fact. I do. I have. Yeah, you do. You get a lot of exposures to new followers. I expect immediate returns, and I've got to stop that. But see, I think the reality of it is here, Alice, is that. As far as the immediate response or immediate return. Now, I had a great stream last night. I did 3.5 hours last night, which is a long stream for me. I had some amazing raids. Sam Nation raided me. A couple other people raided me. I got 7 new followers last night, and that's an immediate response. People raid into you if people are there and they happen to be liking what you're doing at that point in time. They will follow you. That's an immediate response. Chances are, if those people don't follow you at that point in time, and even if they watch the show, but then they move on, chances are they're not going to come back and follow you later. That's it, right? Um, that's kind of my feel. I mean, it's the old, that's why they have the candy bars right by the checkout counter. If you don't buy them now, you're not going to buy them. Buy them now, get it now, grab it now. Let's see. That's insane numbers. I'm not really sure which one we're talking about. Learn not to play the numbers a long time ago. They're not accurate ever. I mean, I'm not trying to get. I'm not one of these guys. I'm not trying to get partner. I'm not trying to hit 3,000 followers. I'm not like my goal. That's not part of the game. I don't worry about that kind of thing. I don't. The money thing, the biddies, the subs. Yes, they're nice. We all like that. I don't need them. I'm not. This is not my gig. I'm not doing this to make my life. I'm not like some of the DJs that I know that are streaming. As a living. So they worry more about that kind of. I don't worry so much about that. Oh, seven new followers in one stream. Yeah, that's incredible. Yeah, that is incredible. DC Artist says she got 2 new followers from the shared. And I'm sure it's I mean, it happens. It doesn't happen. It happens. It doesn't happen. So I'm not streaming to get numbers. That's not why I stream. And I'm trying to get better about not worrying about numbers, not worrying about what other guys are doing or other streamers are doing. Yeah, I want to stream because I enjoy it, because I'm playing the music. Right now, you've got a 1.12 follower to view right now. Yes, and that's Alice, that you point that out. My wife and I talk about that a lot. About 1% is what we figured. DJ Trish, I believe they have respect for their DJs, so they won't come over to the other stream. Yes, exactly. And Trish, I wouldn't want that. If I'm in a shared chat, Canadian Dave, welcome in. If I'm in a shared chat, I wouldn't want those people in Troy's chat or Alice's chat or whoever's chat I'm doing with to come over here. To leave their chat to come into mine. Now, there are a number of people, DJ Hack, I don't think Hack is here, but DJ Hack is and I do it all the time, opening up more than one tab. And you can have, more than one, tab open. And so you can be in DJ Troy's room, and you can be in my room, and you can be in Alice's room, and you can be in, at DJ Hack's room, so you don't have to do that. Alice says sometimes I have 3 or 4 open. Yeah, me too. And I bop back and forth. And sometimes I forget, and I'm listening to one song, and I'm watching, and that's not what they're playing, and I forget where I'm at. I've lost track of what room I'm in, which song and which DJ I'm listening to. DCR says I get 2 lost after 2 open. Yeah. It just depends, I do that for a couple of reasons. One is there are DJs I just like to support, and damn it, if they all aren't on at the same time, stop it, So in order to be supportive of all these DJs, you gotta have those tabs open. You gotta be in there, and you gotta bounce around, because I want to support these guys or gals, these people, these streamers. I want to support them, and stop going on all at the same time. DJ Six, welcome in. I'm gonna send you that tie I was wearing the other day. Oh no, man, my wife bought me that tie. Six, I can't do that. DJ Troy, just missed some of the conversation, but I think you're talking about the next topic. Yes. I will also, DJ Trish says, I will be good also for those DJs, have a team maybe. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of floating all over here. I started talking about the shared chat thing, which is where I was heading with that, and trying to get ideas and thoughts and people on that. The shared chat. I mean, and I've talked about this before. For me as a streamer, I can have, dumb numbers. I could have 50 people. Let's say that the little number shows me that there's 50 people in my room, but nobody's chatting. I'm done. I'm out of here, right? Because I'm here for that interaction. I like the interaction. That is the cool thing about the shared chat, because even if I have a bunch of people in my room, and nobody's chatting, which happens a lot, there's other people in some of the other rooms that are chatting, and I can work off that, and I enjoy that. DJ Choice says, us DJs will not always play your favorite song. With shared chat, you can easily bop between streams with the tabs at the bottom and easy return to, the DJ room you left. Yeah, I like that. So that is what I really do like about the shared chat, is because it keeps that interaction going, and that's, I mean, I'm here for the interaction. I do a lot of micless nights, but I still try to interact in the chat, on the computer. I miss my mic on micless nights. And I've said this before, as a DJ, I want people on the dance floor. I want to see people on the dance floor. I don't care if they're sitting off to the sides tapping their toes. That's not what I want. I want the DJs. I want the people on the dance floor. That's what I'm a DJ. That's what I want. When I'm a streamer, my attitude is, I'm playing music. I want people to enjoy their music. But I want that interaction on the chat, DJ Trish asked, how do the shared hype train work? I think the shared hype train works, and if somebody knows for sure, you get what you get in your channel, right? But the hype train can go different levels because the people in the other chats are kicking money in, right? So let's say in my chat, I've had 3 people put up, subs, okay, but we're at level 15, right? Because of the other channels, everybody's putting stuff in, so that builds it up. But when all's said and done, when the shared hype train ends, you're going to get what you had from your stream. You're not going to get part of their stuff, right? So, but it's cool. Again, it's that excitement factor, and I don't know if you're like me. I get caught up in the hype trains. There are times, because I'm a mobile DJ and my income is up and down. There are times where it's more down than it is up, and I always tell myself when I'm down here, stop it. You can't be subbing, you can't be buying biddies and stuff. But I get caught up in the hype train. It's like going to an auction and they're okay, and you end up paying 10 times as much for XYZ as you could have bought it at the store or on Amazon, but you get caught up in the excitement. That's what's the amazing. DJ Choi says, let's see, there are 3 chats shared, all biddies, subs, gift subs, moves the hype train, percentage exactly the same in all 3 rooms. Yes. So. But you get what you make, and then you make it rain. I think it is artists. So shared chat, they're fun, they're confusing, and they're goods and bads, like most everything. If I'm in the mood, I'll do the shared chat. One of these days I'm gonna grab DJ Troy offline and have him give me directions on how to start a shared chat, because I don't know. I like that Troy sends me a link and it's really easy, and I assume it's probably easy. As we've talked about before, technology is not my friend. So that's that. Okay. Well, that takes care of these 2 messages. How are we doing? Are we still hanging out? DJ Troy is a monster at it. Yes, he is. DJ Six, Miss Six, how you doing? Ladies and gentlemen, the Mr. and Mrs. Sixes are in my chat today, and that's almost. I was gonna say almost an honor. It's no, it is an honor. Thank you, Sam Nation, still here with us. And I know that it pops up through my chat from occasionally, time to time. If you're a streamer and you need emotes that for the ones that are popping around right about now, Sam Nation has got a free site with zillions of emotes, both animated and stagnant. I have a bunch of holiday ones up right now. So all he asks is that you just go get them. You don't even need to buy them. They're free and they're fun. Twitch usually, if you're in good standing with Twitch, you put an emote in, it usually comes up right away. If you're a little wonky standing, sometimes they make you wait a couple days. DJ Ryan says, what would I do? What I would really love to do is do a stream with you where I'm at your house and you're at yours, and we both are on screens. Ryan went away. Yeah, fast chat, and we're both on streaming together, going back and forth with music. Yeah, Ryan, I'd like to do that too. And I think we've talked about this a zillion times. And they, if I'm not mistaken, I think that's what that shared stream thing is. And if again somebody with more technical experience that's in the chat, screen split in half, I guess, Rai over here, me over there. I'm not really sure how the sound thing would work. We'd have to be coordinating that. We asked maybe we'd be talking and going, okay, it's your turn. You play a song, I'll play a song, and that would have to be, how that would work. I'm not really sure. But yeah, that would be, I mean, I think, even, and I keep saying I'm going to do this, ladies and gentlemen, and I am so lame with Chat with Chuck. When I envisioned Chat with Chuck, I didn't envision it to be such Twitch centric as it has evolved into, but that's fine. And B, I envisioned interviews, and I have never worked out the technology because, again, I'm bad with it, and 2, I am lame. We had a phone interview with DJ Head. I had an interview with my wife, and that was easy because she was here. One night, Ryan happened to stop by, and I cornered him, and we recorded an interview. And that was I don't have a problem having people to interview. I have had a number of people reach out to me and say, yeah, I'm into it. Let me know. I just have to figure out how to frickin' do it. And it's got to be easy because I'm a frickin' idiot with that. So, but if you've got somebody, Zoom meeting, I have no idea. 6, I don't know how that would work. I have no idea how that would how I would get that in the OBS, or any of that kind of stuff. I'm completely lost. See now, Sam Nation, StreamYard. Sam, you don't live that far from me. Come up here and show me how to do that. Come on up. Sam's gonna drive up to my house and he's gonna come over and he's gonna show me how to do the StreamYard. StreamYard has been mentioned to me. Hey Ryan, are you still here? I think I even have a StreamYard. I think Ryan. No, I gave it back to him. Do I still have it? I can't remember. I don't remember. Yeah, we need the special guest. I've had a couple DJs that have reached out to me, and when I've mentioned that I want to do this, and said, yeah, I'm ready. I'll do it. That was I would love to do that. I would love to turn this into that kind of show. And keep prodding me. Somebody prod me, because that's what we need to do. I would love to get another. I'd love to get not just streamers. I know that most of everybody here would relate more to a streamer than just another mobile DJ, because my job, my livelihood is I'm a mobile DJ, a full-time mobile DJ. That's what I do. I got horror stories. I got stories from years of being a mobile DJ. I went full-time in '85 as a mobile DJ. I would love to get another mobile DJ on, other than Ryan, and talk about that kind of thing. But I think most people here would probably relate to streamer DJs, or even mods. Even not even I don't even know. Interview a mod, or mods. I know we did a show about mods. I don't know, a month or so ago, 4, 5, 6 episodes ago, we did a whole show about mods, and where I sent questions out and I got answers on how to make a good mod, how to be a good mod, what does it take. You couldn't do it nowadays. I did it way back in the 80s and 90s. I did it way back in the 80s and 90s too. 6. but I'm lucky. Six. I have to say I am lucky. I'm still able physically to go out and do the events, and that's the biggie. I know I've gotten older, and I know some of the events I've aged out on, or on the border of that kind of thing. But I was. You were too strict, Trish. How do you mean that? Explain that to me a little bit. And I'm gonna be 70, and on January 5th, and I'm actually it's a milestone birthday, and I'm actually thinking about doing something on the 5th. I don't know if I'm gonna do a mega stream. I'm thinking about doing maybe a long stream. Or I might just take the day off and go golf with my wife. My wife doesn't golf, but maybe she'd come hang out with me. I don't know. I'm gonna do something. January 5th though is my birthday. Yeah, I'll be 70. 6. I am not gonna put on another freaking birthday train. Thank you, DC artist. It's putting on the raid trains, are amazing. GNC DJ, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Years ago, not years ago, whatever, 3 or 4 years ago, whatever, I put my first raid train. I put on a birthday raid train for my mod, a Tina baby. I did that train, and I said I'm never doing another one. And then last year, I decided, okay, well, I'll put one on for Tennessee Girl, because she got to be such a huge part of the show. So I put one on last year for Tennessee Girl, and she was so sick, she was in the hospital, and she couldn't even be there. She couldn't be on the train at all. So that's why I put one on for her this year. And I said, well, you missed last year, let's do this year. Well, we don't need to go there again, but so putting on raid trains is an amazing feat. And those of you that put them on, I love raid trains. You ask me, I'm on the raid train. You ask me if I'm not gigging somewhere, if I'm not at the golf course, I'm on the train. I love doing raid trains. I'm on one Saturday night. I go on at 10 o'clock for Lady J for her birthday. I go on at 10 o'clock Saturday night, Pacific Standard Time. I don't know what I'm going to play. She's a big hip-hop fan. I don't play a lot of hip-hop, but we'll see what happens. She's also a big Prince fan. I'm kind of leaning that way, but we'll see. But anyway, so Saturday night, if you're around, 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, I'll be doing a couple hours for Lady J's birthday. Sam Nation is actually making the emotes for her, or the flyers and stuff for her. DJ Ryan says, Chuck is a raid train whore. Yes, I love them. I do. Stick says, I used to enjoy setting them up and doing them. Lately, though, there's been a certain group of people that have been nothing but trouble, and I just can't get behind them anymore. I've had my troubles on raid trains. I'm on one raid train fairly consistently. It's not a huge train. It's a fun train. I enjoy doing it. There have been troubles. I'm going to share this. I know some of you may have heard this story before. I'll give you the Reader's Digest condensed version of this story. This was about, I want to say about 2 years ago. I was on a raid train. I was very excited. It was a pretty big raid train. And the gentleman that was the DJ before me had something like 80 people, 85 people in his room. I was salivating at the fact that I'm going to get 85 people in my stream, because I don't get huge numbers. I was really, really, really looking forward to it, man. I was getting all jacked up. I was ready. I let him know, hey, okay, I'm live. I'm ready to go. And he's like, okay, yeah. And the 3 o'clock time came, and the raid never came. The raid never came. And it turns out, because this guy had so many people in his room, he decided to send all these people to one of his other buddies who was streaming, and support his buddy, and completely derailed the train. And he hasn't been invited back onto that train. But so, yeah, I've had DC artists. Yeah. What the, yeah. That's, yeah. How come your Toys for Tots train got canceled this year? By the way, I think it was on days where I was actually having gigs, so I couldn't make it this year. But yeah, I mean, that was probably my worst experience on raid trains. Now I've been on trains where the person before me has gone on late, or not rated me, or had technical problems because they didn't. If you're on a raid train, start your stream 30 minutes before you're supposed to go on. Don't wait 5 minutes to go before you're supposed to go on to start your stream, because if you have a technical problem, you're going to screw everything up. Especially if you're on a train that you have only an hour, right? And so you're raiding into the next cat that's got an hour, and you're late or something. Now you're screwing up that next guy or gal, person, streamer. We did a whole show, I know, about 2 months ago. This is episode 31 of Chat with Chuck, by the way, something like that. And we did a whole show about raid trains a while back, and that was a couple of the things that we talked about were, my God, respect the train. Don't be so narrow. People are like, oh well, I get a stream until 3 o'clock. Well, that's right. At 3 o'clock, you raid your butt out. You don't start your raid at 3 o'clock, or you don't go, well, after 3 o'clock, I'll wait till the song ends. I love raid trains, Trish, and you take the good along with the bad, raid trains are a great way to get exposed to other people to watch your stream. That's the ultimate guide there is the raid train, Sam Nation loves raid trains. Yeah, I mean, Deb's had people, I mean, again, stuff happens, and it's sad and it's annoying. And my chat's moving kind of faster than I'm missing some stuff. I apologize, chat. But it does happen, and this kind of goes back to where let's bring this full circle, ladies and gentlemen. This kind of goes back to what we were talking about, people passing, right? Something happens and it gets annoying, and you have words, and there's drama, and something happens, and that's the last thing you say to that person. Nobody wants that. It is amazing. Try to. Man, I try to let stuff go, and I am that's a biggie for me. I really have a hard time on that one. As my wife knows, there's one part of our life that I screwed up on, and I hold it against myself and others for years. We won't get into that because it's sad. It's sad. But my wife is. I've often called Black Sheep Kajira the most supportive wife on Twitch, and my life on Twitch, without the support of Black Sheep Kajira, would not be the same. And I don't know how to thank her. I don't know if she's still listening or not, but she's so supportive in ways that go beyond just being in my chat. You're still here? Oh, ladies and gentlemen, my wife, Black Sheep Kajira. If you're paying attention, there she is. She's not in my streams a lot. Our musical tastes are not worldly different, but they are fairly different. And so I don't expect any of my mods to be in my chats all the time. That's just kind of the way I am. Without her love and support, I have my gear set up 24/7. 24/7, I can walk out into the studio garage and stream. She is okay. Would she rather maybe have me sitting by the TV watching with her, or maybe playing some cards or hanging out? Yeah, she probably would. And a lot of the times I would probably rather do that too. But a lot of times I like to stream. If you're a streamer, you know this. We like to stream. We enjoy it. You know, and for Kajira, even when she, you know, would rather have me with her to let me go out and stream, or I don't want to say let me, that's not the right word, but you know what I mean. That is, you know, and to put up with the life of Twitch, the drama on Twitch, the whatever you wanna call it, and you know, let's do this for fun.
Hi, I'm Kajira, and Chuck's my favorite DJ.
Yeah. Yeah, baby. Yeah.
The chaos. That's a good word to put it, DC artist. The madness that is the asylum. Yeah, Six. I don't know how you do it. There was more. There was more madness here when we were drinking back in the day. Shenanigans. You know, when we were doing fireball shots and shots and shots. Now there are a lot of. We talked about drinking a while back on Twitch too. You know, give me to level 5 and we'll take shots. We'll do a shoey. We'll, you know, da 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 da. And I stopped that. Miss Six, the love of a good wifey. Exactly. Six says we've slowed down a lot. That's good. I'm glad you have. You know, DC Art says one shot and she's down. She's down, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, that's it. DJ Troy, Fireball, man, that was my passion. You know, Fireball was my drink. DJ Ryan, my Pookie, my bud down the street, Crown, Apple Crown was his deal. Fireball was the death of me. Troy says I carried the little bottles of Fireball in my golf bag. Little bottles in my golf bag. And then I had a heart attack, and that the heart attack that I had 2 years ago ended the Fireball and Pop-Tarts. That was it. Fireball and Pop-Tarts went away. Not that it was a hard thing to give up. Although the Pop-Tarts were probably harder to give up than the Fireball, honestly. I was never a huge drinker. Or sip a tiny bit. You know, Trish, I wish I liked wine. I honestly do. And you know, because I do a lot of work at wineries. I do a lot of events at wineries. I do a lot of parties and a lot of events at the end of the night where people are like, oh my God, here, thank you. And they give me this great bottle of wine. I've been given bottles of wine, $100 bottles of wine, you know, because they liked what I did. And I hate it. I don't like it. And I always my wife will drink a little bit, but I usually take the bottles to my golf pro out at the golf shop, and the pro shop. And I'll, here, Vern, here's a bottle of wine. In fact, just last week I gave him a bottle of wine that I think listed for $117 that was given to me, and because I just don't drink them. But ladies and gentlemen, we've reached that magic time, and I do want to say, you know, thank you all for being here with me and hanging out with me, and you know, talk about support and being here. You know, on these days where I don't really have a solid aim. Dan San CJ Deb, I do that too. I will give them to friends or to the mailman, the postman, something like that. You know, days like today, I had one thing I wanted to talk about, and that was Tennessee. But the rest of the show, I knew I was just going to kind of wing. You know, with a couple notes. I still have a couple notes I didn't use that I might use next week. But you know, this no, you know, Ryan, I think the deal is, you know, leave them wanting more, right? And with that, I'm going to say again, Ryan, everybody that was here, you know, thank you so much. And a lot of new people, we hit 30-something people for just a moment. So, next week, special guest, DC artist. What's next week? Is that Christmas Eve? Is next week Christmas Eve? That might be, yeah. We'll see. We'll see what we can do. Next week is Christmas Eve. That would be my father's birthday. My daughter's birthday is the 23rd. My dad's birthday was the 24th. My dad, rest in peace. But anyway, I do want to say thank you all very much. I appreciate you being here. Send you love. Have everybody if I don't do Christmas, make sure you all have a great Christmas, or Hanukkah, or whatever celebration that you choose to celebrate. I hope it's a great one. Thank you all very much. Good night.
Thanks for listening to Chat with Chuck. Have something you want Chuck to riff about? Send him a whisper and get ready to be entertained. I'm Greg Murray. Thanks for listening.